Hello, today I'm going to be doing a walkthrough video instead of the usual tutorial video. I'm going to be starting from scratch. I have my test dummy right here, and I'm going to be doing like a step-by-step on how I'm going to approach the issue, the problem, and how I'm going to do it. So first things first, I'm going to start by setting up everything. So I'm going to go here and start creating my local script to set up the skill. Alright, I've done the basic setup. I just have a keybind right here. I binded it to Y. It will fire this. I'll fire this. It will be picked up by this script, and I have 2 stars. Alright, now it's time to do the modeling, and honestly, the only thing that needs to be modeled here is the missile. Yeah, the missile has a pretty simple shape. It just has a weird line texture because all the doubles in that show use that weird pattern. But I think I can get like some AI generated texture to, you know, make that pretty easy to do. Alright. I'm not very good at Blender, but I know how to use it for the most part. Alright, here we go. And oh yeah, we got a nice missile shape right here. Alright, now I need to add the little missile fins. Can I? Honestly, how do I subdivide this? Oh, right here. Oh, nah. Oh, it's called a loop cut. Okay, great. Then we'll start there and right here. Okay, great. Alright, perfect. We have our missile model right here. Actually, one more thing. While I was doing this, I'm probably gonna actually make this a bit more detailed. I made the missile a little bit longer because I felt like it was a little weird that it wasn't. Alright, I need to inset this real quickly. There we go. Now, this is the perfect model. Alright, here's a time lapse from me designing the missile trail. This took 10 minutes. Well, I haven't made like the actual explosion yet. I just made a bunch of smoke because I thought the smoke would be the hardest part, but actually this is actually better because now I have like a better vision on what I want to do now. Yo, I just found out you can make a gradient out of smoke. That makes it a lot better because most of Reze's explosions are like this color changing smoke, and they go in a really funky shape. You know, that's a pretty good breakthrough. Alright, this is going to be my final product or first draft for the explosion. So it'll just go like this. Do that, and that's the whole explosion. It's only one side, you can only see it from one side. I think for now, I'm just going to use this because, damn, making explosions are hard. I'm going to see what it looks like once I put it all together. So I was creating the next thing, and I have an entire script to help me make the effects. And I ran into a little bit of a problem. So I have 2 points where the particles are emitting, but they kind of Z-fight, which is not good. So I'm thinking I might just have to stick with the regular explosion and try to tweak the way it emits, and that's probably the best course of action. Alright, I'm gonna make the animation for the skill, and then I'm gonna move on to actually creating the skill and see how it looks. Alright, I have my animation right here. Now I'm going to script the first part of the move. You know, I thought I could get away with the explosion I made, but I guess I gotta make something a little more special, because there's just something wrong with this explosion. It certainly looks like an explosion, but there's just it needs more shape. I probably gotta use scripts to like make my own shape. That's probably how I'm gonna do it. I'll work on the missile firing later. I want to work on the special effects first. So I have ran into a different problem now. So trying to separate the explosions, you can see that there's an extreme amount of Z fighting, or not Z fighting, but it looks like decals are overlapping one another, and I don't know how to fix that. So I might gotta abandon ship with this effect and just stick with the normal boring awe explosions. Alright, after lots of testing, I've come up with a new solution, and I've created a nice little shape here. It looks a lot better than the other one I created, and I have this part and I give it velocity through this, and I have this to make sure the part doesn't rotate randomly, because the part itself is not anchored. It is kept in place by this velocity, and whenever I need the particles to go in a certain direction, I just set the velocity in that direction. Alright, here's an issue that I was actually stuck on for a couple hours trying to figure out. So when you normally run this effect, this is what it looks like on the server side. It explodes like normally, right? The explosion spread out. But however, when you test this local side, it doesn't work properly at all. So I play here local. It's just a ball. And that's because when the effects play out in the server side, it's not properly replicated to the local side. That's why you need to use this to set the part ownership to local side, so the local player can render the part, which will make it render properly. And be careful when you do this, because obviously local side stuff can be used by exploiters. So when I changed the script so only the particles are summoned local side, I made a local script somewhere for this. But yeah. Alright, I decided to add one extra thing, a smoke trail for the traveling thing. It'll turn off like after like a single second of it traveling. And then I'm gonna start moving on to the script. I'm testing this in low key, even though it looks kinda off. It can be tweaked later. This will be it for now. I had school issues, that's why this upload took so long. So I prioritized school over making videos, and I'm really lazy anyway. So this is what I've got. I'll make the cutscene next, because the next portion of the video will be starting the cutscene, and I may or may not remake the effects. I might do more of these deving logs, or like just deving in general, not tutorials, because they're a lot faster to make, and I'm trying to build a habit of at least uploading consistently. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get second part out real fast. The second part is animation, which I'm not very well versed at, but I think basic animation skills should be enough, since I'm just gonna be using scripts to make all the effects anyway. Alright, see you in the next video.